Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Hey, today I want to get on here and talk about tires because I see a lot of questions about tires. I get questions about tires. You know, how do I like the tires I have? Are they loud? Are they slippery? How do they perform? So I thought, you know, we're going to get on here and talk about it because I have really experience with, of course, the OEM stuff, the Toyos that came on the Tacoma back there originally. The Nitto Ridge Grapplers, which I have now. The Dura Tracks, which are on the Tundra out there. But specifically, I wanted to talk about the Tacoma, what's behind me right there. You can see that big tire. Makes my head look really small. Before we do that, one thing though, don't forget stuff. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video and to the channel. Anyway, what I want to talk about specifically, I've had two different versions of the Nitto Ridge Grappler on here. A bigger one, which is now on the Jeep back there because they were too big for the Tacoma back here. They hit the UCAs. That's a different video. I've done a few videos on that, so we're not going to go into that. They were just too big. That's no fault of the tire, of course. That's the fault of me, the guy who picked them out. Very important to do your research. Make sure that you know what you're getting and get a lot of opinions and experience from people that have them. I always find it interesting when I look at comments and things from people who have lifted their trucks or whatever and have put bigger tires and wheels on. It seems to me like every one of them tell me that they have a rub at some point. So make sure you know what you're doing. Anyway, back to the Nitto Ridge Grapplers. You can see they are an aggressive tire. You know, I like you have this kind of wrap-around tread here on the sides, you know. And that's because they're kind of what I would call a hybrid, right? They're supposed to be able to be used both on and off-road. Kind of a good mix between the two. Let's go back here and look at the tread. You can see right behind me, hopefully in a second here, the tread work that's on these tires. I mean, it's pretty aggressive, right? Especially compared to the OEM version or what comes on the truck. Those are Toyos. That's actually my spare. I mean, look at the tread here as compared to what you get with the Nitto Ridge Grappler. I mean, pretty darn aggressive, right? So that leads to the question then, well, because they're so aggressive, what kind of noise do we get? I mean, is there a lot of sound and stuff? I mean, when you're on the road, you know, driving on a nice long family vacation or something, you got the kids in the back and the wife or the girlfriend or whoever sitting beside you. You don't want to hear all that slapping around on the road. You don't want to hear all that tire noise. So what I've done, we're going to go for a ride. I'm going to show you a little clip here. I have a camera set up right there. And it, of course, is facing the tire. So that we can hear what it sounds like. I'm going to just drive through a subdivision. I'm going to drive at high speed for just a couple minutes. It's not going to be a long, epic journey or anything in the truck. But I want to kind of give you guys a feel for what these tires sound like. Now, I will say before I do that, as I mentioned, I have the Dura Tracks on the Tundra out there. And they're a more aggressive tire as well. And I think they're fantastic too. But given the choice between the two, I would go with the Nittos because they've been fantastic. But let's go take a ride. Let you guys hear what it sounds like on the road. And you can kind of make your own decision. Are they loud? Are they quiet? Would it drive you nuts? I don't know. Let's fire up the GoPro and find out. Okay, we're out cruising around on the road right now. And wanted to give you a couple of little snippets. The first one you're going to see here is actually in just a subdivision, maybe as high as about 30 mile an hour and lower speeds, just so you can hear what it sounds like next to the tire out there on the road. And then we're going to get onto a 55, 60 mile an hour road, and you guys can hear a little more what it sounds like out there on that road at higher speeds. cruising down the road right now at about 55, and you can hear what it sounds like in here. Now, I am on a rougher road, I'll tell you that. This road is a more coarsely graded, if you will, asphalt. But let me be quiet for a second. You guys can hear it. It's not too bad. You can hear it there. You can have a conversation in here without screaming and yelling because your tires are so loud. But you can definitely hear the road for sure with these tires. Now, that's a 55-mile-an-hour road. We're going to make a turn here, and in a minute we're going to be on a 45 and then down to a 30. So you'll be able to hear what the truck sounds like inside on those slower speed limit roads, if you will. So as soon as we get through this light here, we'll get on to a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. There we go. Okay, here's a 45-mile-an-hour road. So as soon as we get up to speed, let you guys hear that from the inside. Right here is cruising at 45. Again, you can hear some road noise here, of course. And I don't know that you're ever going to have a tire of any kind that you're not going to hear any road noise. And then we're going to go over a bridge which has that concrete base. So here we go right here. Really not much of a difference. You know, sometimes when you're on the freeway and you go over that transition area between the asphalt ends, if you will, the concrete bridge, you do get a higher whistling kind of sound, if you know what I mean, out of the tires. Now we're going to turn on to a 30-mile-an-hour road. You can hear what it's like just cruising on a 30. Right there's 30. Again, you get some noise out of it, I suppose, but I have heard much, much worse. You ever get beside somebody on a road and they've got those giant asphalt tearing treaded tires on? Maybe they're studs, I don't know. But they're driving along and it's so loud. It drives me nuts. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand being beside those kind of vehicles. And here we are continuing on a 30-mile-an-hour road. It's like part of the road caved in there. That's nice. So there you go. That'll give you an idea of what the tires sound like under different speeds. 35, 25, 45, 55, and 60. Just to get an idea, I guess, of what they sound like. Now, for me personally, I think they're terrific. I think they're an excellent match, if you will, for somebody who drives on-road and off-road. Maybe not heavy-duty rock crawling or anything like that, but if you're just doing normal off-roading, you know, dirt, some ruts, things like that, I think these tires are a perfect, I don't want to say compromise, let's say blend for the two. I love the looks of them. I love the performance of them. And that's one other thing I wanted to mention. I've talked about it a couple times in other videos, but I had the Toyos on the Ram Rebel. And those tires were so slick. And I think it's just because they were a really hard compound that when you drove them on wet roads, you know, like in the rain, or even turning onto a pretty smooth asphalt driveway that I used to have, they would lose traction. I don't know how many times I turned onto that driveway and would start to go sideways because, you know, it was a long driveway. I'd turn on and then give it some gas. I didn't floor it, but I would get on the gas pretty well. And I would say every time they lost traction, I'd have to let off the gas for fear of sliding off my own driveway into my yard, you know. So I wasn't big on those, and I wouldn't recommend those. Again, those were the Toyos that were on. They came standard on the Ram Rebel. I don't know if they still go with those or not, but they were horrible. These Nitto Ridge Grapplers, they don't do that. I haven't had any problems with them, you know, peeling out or losing traction when I'm taking a turn. I'd say spiritedly, but not in any crazy fashion where I'm, like nailing it to really get on the gas. And they've performed pretty well. I'm very happy with them. I wouldn't hesitate going with them again. One other one I'm going to throw in there real quick are the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax. They are also an awesome tire. That's what I have on the Tundra. I really like those as well, but I would still stick with the Nitto Ridge Grapplers because I've had a lot more experience with those, I guess, and they've performed really well. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and give you guys a little first-person view, I guess, of what these tires sound like on the road. Again, I see a lot of comments and questions. People are always asking. You see a lot of those polls, too, like on Facebook. Should I get da-da-da-da-da-da? And they'll list off 4 or 5 different options. For me, it's the Nitto Ridge Grappler. Awesome tire, and I highly recommend them. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.